She spent 2 years convinced her boyfriend was stalling. 2 years of watching friends get engaged while she kept hearing not yet. 2 years of strangers dismissing her relationship because there was no ring on her finger. And then, one afternoon on a mountain trail, everything she had ever worried about dissolved in a single sentence from a man on one knee. But here is the part she never saw coming. He had not been stalling at all. He had been waiting. Patiently. Deliberately. For the exact right moment. For the exact right place. For the very spot where he first fell in love with her. She was so overwhelmed when that moment finally arrived that she completely forgot to say yes. He had to ask again. This is the story of how anxiety nearly destroyed something beautiful, and how one man's quiet, deliberate patience delivered the most perfect payoff imaginable. Let me take you back to where this started. It was 2016. She was 24, he was 25, and they had been together for 3.5 years. On paper, everything looked perfect. They had moved in together over 2 years earlier. They were best friends, the kind of couple who genuinely liked each other, not just loved each other. He had introduced her to his family after just 1 month of dating. That was a big deal. He had never done that with any girlfriend before. She became close with his parents, his siblings, his whole world. He told her early on that he had known they had a future from the very first day they met, and he backed it up. He paid most of the bills without complaint while she finished school and managed a part-time job through serious medical issues he never once made her feel bad about. He showed up, quietly and consistently, in every way that actually counted. By every measure, this was a great man. And yet, there was no ring, and the longer she waited, the louder that absence became. She had brought it up, of course she had, and he always circled back to money. He said he could not afford a ring right now, that they should wait until she graduated, that the timing just was not right yet, but she knew what he earned. He had a career, a decent salary. He had been working for over a year, so why was there always an excuse? She watched friends get engaged after 6 months of dating. Couples who had been together half as long were already planning weddings. Every ring she saw on someone else's finger felt like a question her own relationship could not answer. It was not greed. She liked simple jewelry. She was not asking for much. She just wanted the promise. She wanted to know, really, truly know, that she was not quietly, invisibly waiting for something that was never going to come. But the fear ran much deeper than jealousy ever could. She had survived cervical cancer. Her surgeon had sat her down after the procedure and told her plainly, high risk of premature pregnancy. Every month that passed felt like biological time ticking down on something she could not control and could not get back. And her parents, they had her when they were in their mid-40s. She watched them get a little older every year and felt a quiet desperation she could not fully explain to anyone who had not lived it. She wanted them at her wedding. She wanted them to hold her grandchildren. She wanted them there for the moments that actually matter. None of this was petty. None of it was irrational. This was a woman staring down a set of real, time-sensitive fears, and all she had to hold onto was a boyfriend who kept saying soon. Not yet. Wait, when you are staring down a ticking clock, even the man you love can start to feel like a closed door. And the world outside was not helping. When men hit on her and she mentioned she had a boyfriend, they would shrug it off. Just a boyfriend. No ring, no real commitment. That was the message she kept absorbing from the people around her, whether they meant to send it or not. She watched her engaged friends and noticed how differently the world seemed to treat them. Like the ring was proof of something she could not yet claim. Her boyfriend told her not to compare their relationship to others. He would remind her that he knew them, and he knew they would get married. You don't need a ring right now to know we'll be together forever. And she believed him. She did. But belief is hard to hold onto when doubt is loud enough. So she did what people do when they need perspective they cannot find on their own. She posted to Reddit and asked a room full of strangers the question that had been eating at her for months. Am I being ridiculous? Reddit did not coddle her. The top comment came in with both barrels. The commenter told her to look at the situation from her boyfriend's perspective, barely a year into his career, paying most of their bills, committed by every single action he had ever taken. And then came the line that stung. Do you even love him, or are you just angling for a ring, any ring from any guy? That one landed. Not because it was entirely fair, but because it forced her to look at something she had been avoiding. She had been so focused on what she did not have that she had almost stopped seeing what she did have. A man who showed up, every single day. In the unglamorous, undramatic, everyday ways that actually matter. The commenter told her she was 24, that she had time. that the man in her life was already showing her his commitment through his actions. She just needed to open her eyes and actually look at what was right in front of her. She replied to the comments. Honestly, she admitted it was her, not him. She said she was a warrior, that the jealousy was something she needed to work on, and that she already knew she had someone great. And in writing that out, something shifted. She stopped fixating on the ring and started seeing the man. The man who had never once made her feel unloved. The man who had been paying their bills while she got through school and her appointments without a single word of resentment. The man who already knew every detail of her medical risks and had told her he was prepared to work for both of them through whatever came. That is not how a man who is stalling behaves. That is how a man who is building behaves. So she made a quiet decision to trust him. To stop measuring their relationship against everyone else's timeline. To let him love her on a schedule that was theirs alone. A small, private decision. As it turned out, the best one she would ever make. 2 years passed. She graduated college. And not long after she crossed that stage, he suggested a hike. A specific one. One she recognized immediately, the same trail they had walked years before, the one that ended at a beautiful mountain lake. She remembered that first visit like it was yesterday. He had held her at the water's edge, both of them just breathing it in, and there had been a perfect, absolutely still moment where she was certain he was about to kiss her. He had not. He told her later he was not sure if she wanted him to. She had teased him about it for years. You had the perfect moment and you let it go. But now he was taking her back. Same trail. Same destination. And as they hiked, she felt it, that particular electric anticipation of not knowing exactly what is coming, but sensing somewhere deep in your body that something you have been waiting a very long time for is finally about to arrive. They reached the lake, the water was still, the light was exactly right, and he turned to her. He told her this was the exact spot, this water, this view, this particular afternoon light, where he had first known he was in love with her. And then he got on one knee. She did not speak. She did not move. She just kissed him, completely forgot that she was supposed to answer a question. Forgot the whole script of how proposals are supposed to work. She just kissed him right there at that lake, at the exact spot where he had once been too nervous to kiss her first. And then he looked up at her, patient as always, certain as always, and said, "Are you going to marry me or not?" She said of course. Of course she was. They married about a year later and celebrated their first anniversary that October. When she posted the update to Reddit, she opened with the words "my boyfriend" at the time, just to make everyone's heart drop for 1 second before the good news landed. She had absolutely earned that. The years passed. The marriage not just held, but grew into something real and deep and ordinary in all the best ways. In 2024, she became a mother. A daughter. They named her Ellie, after a character from a video game they both loved, fierce, strong-willed, someone who never gives up. The name fit before they even knew her face. A few months later, she left a comment on a parenting post asking how many dads helped with middle-of-the-night wakings. She answered simply, "My husband does. Has helped since the day she was born. Still helping at 18 months. That detail. That quiet, unglamorous, completely unremarkable detail about a man who gets up in the dark to care for his child, that is the same man she once feared was not committed enough. The same man who was quietly paying their rent and planning a proposal while she worried herself sick over a ring she did not yet have. Some men show you who they are through grand gestures. Some show you at 2 in the morning, in a dark nursery, with a baby who needs them. She spent 2 years waiting for a promise she already had. He spent 2 years building toward a moment worthy of the person he loved. And in the end, the lake, the knee, the forgotten yes, the wedding, the daughter named Ellie, the man who still gets up in the night. None of it would exist if she had let fear win instead of trusting what was already right in front of her. Sometimes the timeline that looks all wrong from the outside is exactly right when you are finally living inside it. Cold karma does not always look like revenge. Sometimes it looks like patience vindicated. Sometimes it is the quiet, undeniable confirmation that the thing you were most afraid of losing was never actually at risk. You worried for nothing. It was always going to be yours. If stories like this one stay with you, the kind where love wins quietly and patience gets its payoff, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. We are here every single day with another one.